All right. Hello, mate. How you doing?
All
Yeah,
right.
I'm good. What you been up to?
How's lockdown treating you?
Good. Yeah. I had a lot more free time to be able to do some things that I've wanted to do. Hence this whole production thing that I'm trying to get off the ground.
Is is that a grey hair I can
Mate,
see?
there's more than that, mate. Mate, I've got a lockdown haircut, man. Have you seen it? See if I can come to the side here. Look at this. I've elasted my hair. Um,
Hi, mine's better on that.
yeah, I've got a lockdown cut, but hey, I
Aye,
don't mind. You know, it is what it is. So, what did you have been up to today?
it's great, man. Just went to the beach, got sunburned.
Nice.
Just standard bank
Fish and
holiday.
chips?
No, but I did have
Oh
ice
man,
cream.
it'd be rude not to. You've got to have an ice cream. Any beer?
Nah, nah, nah.
Been good.
Not this time.
well,
Been good, aye.
yeah. So, well, the reason I got out, I wanted to have a chat was obviously in early 2017. Um, you popped a little
Back
you
in the
put a little
day.
question in my ear about doing something that quite outrageous, and at the time I was like, "Get it, I'll do it. I'm happy." A couple of like months later, it was getting closer to the date, and yeah, getting quite nervous at the
Regretting it.
time. Yeah, getting nervous, and obviously with what we went through, was a crazy experience. Even a few years later, like people still talk about it, and I just kind of wanted to just to kind of touch base with you. I've got, as you can see, I've put it in my blog, it would be nice just to obviously to get you on, have a big crack, say because you had more experience than me in this, very much. You'd done it before. You and was it who was it in 2015? Did you do it? You and Ross?
Um, yeah, I think it was
Yeah,
2015.
see. So yeah, you already
Yeah,
had a little bit of experience, so I just wanted to have a big chat with you and see, obviously, talk to you about what got you into doing it in the first place, right? And then
yeah,
kind of go from
yeah. You never really shared, actually, before we go into that. So how nervous were you?
there. Extremely.
How close were you to
I
pulling
was
out?
never close to pulling out because once everything, I was down the rabbit hole. Do you know what I mean? Once it had kicked off, and we were moving further and further, it just seemed to kind of to go really quick and go really fast, and it was always months away. It was always months away. Then click, bang, it was tomorrow, and we were like, what
Yeah,
happened there? So we
yeah,
always had loads of time to think about it and pre-plan it and think, and then bang, it was here, and it was like, oh, then I did get the. Don't get us wrong, I'm not gonna lie, I did get the, what have I got myself into here? Like Philly's a young lad, at mid 20s. I'm like 10, 15 years old, like older. I'm 39. Like, what am I doing? Um, but it was like, but I was, with the fact that you had done it before. I knew kind of that you were not coming into it blind. You knew kind of the effects it had on your body. So beforehand, obviously, we spent a lot of time talking. We spent a lot of time through at the Super Snooker Club, having a knock and kind of discussing what we were going to do. And obviously, me being able to pick your brain about the fact that you've got experience in it and had actually, you knew what it was like and the effects on your mind and your body as kind of you went through it. It made it a little bit
yeah.
easier for me. You weren't going into it blind. You've been there and seen it and done it, so you're gonna have to explain what got you into it and how you felt the first time doing it as well.
I think, well, it all started when when Fish did the pool marathon with Mark, and me and Fish were just talking. We were saying we just kind of had a chat, and he said, "Look, you've got to do the snooker one," and it never really came across my mind. And then obviously Ross said that he would love to do it when I was asking people, oh, who would do it with us, and he said he would, and I was like, champion, right? Let's get the wheels in motion, and that's when we talked about it and said, oh, we should do a charity spin and raise some
Hmm.
money. So and then that's what we did. I can't remember what the record was the first time. I think it was
I
around
was gonna
50
say, was it?
hours.
I'm sure it's something. I think 50 rings a bell.
It was around 50. I'm sure it was around 50 because what I said was is I wanted to break it by a good
Hmm.
margin. So that's why I went for 65. Um and we did the same with ours as
Yeah,
well. We
well, yeah.
broke it by quite a bit. Um, but I wanted to do that because I didn't want it to kind of be easy for the next person.
Yeah, I think like yeah, the more you break it by, the harder it is for the next people to come
Yeah,
along.
yeah. So it was definitely fun and games.
Had you always kind of once you'd done it, was it always in your mind to do it again and kind of try and to not just beat it, but did you know at the end that you had more in the tank? Did you think I've done the 50 hours and my hands raised and I'm happy I've raised money for charity and I've got the Guinness World Record. I've got a little bit left in the tank here. I can definitely shift another few hours.
Definitely, definitely. To be honest, I knew because when me and Ross did the first snooker marathon, don't get me wrong, even in the first marathon, like your mind does play tricks on
Yeah.
you. And especially with that being my first one, obviously going into the one me and you, I had a bit more
Hmm.
experience, but which I think personally it did make a difference.
Hmm.
Um, but I definitely at the end, I remember feeling, even though I was knackered, I felt like I could go on longer. And I said to people, I can go on longer here. Um, but I mean, that's why I wanted to do it again. And when I heard, obviously, that someone had broke it, well, that was just the extra kind of oomph to kind of say, right,
I'm back.
he's doing it again.
Yeah, yeah, I'm back. I'm gonna do it again. Yeah.
Definitely.
I'd never even thought about doing it, like something, maybe years ago I might have, but when you mentioned it, it was just, I don't know if we'd had a few beers together, I don't know what was going on, but we're like, yes, let's do it. I'm on board. And then obviously once the charities became evident that we were going to be like raising money for charity, and charities that are both extremely close to our hearts. Like I think that was kind of like the driving force for me, definitely. Once we'd kind of got that in motion, and it was going to be for Diabetes UK, it was going to be for the St Cuthbert's
Yeah.
Hospice and stuff, and I thought, right, that's it. Like these are two organisations close to my heart, and I thought, right, that's it. Not that there's any going back. I think you never. It was all set up. Then we even had sponsors and all sorts, and
Yeah.
the newspapers were coming out and people coming and putting us on the news and stuff. And once that started and the ball had really kind of rolled, it was just kind of like, right, we're on now. There's no going back. Uh, I
Yeah.
wished I'd been able to sleep a little bit more the night before. Um,
I remember that always sticks in my mind when you said that you struggled to sleep. Um, and I think when we were talking as well, it would have been dead helpful to have the timings on the morning, wouldn't
it
it?
would, but like we discussed the other day when we were having a bit chat about it, like the fact that it started at 4 in the afternoon. Um,
Mhm.
and I'd love to have. I went to sleep late. I went to sleep at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, just so I could sleep. And like I give myself a full 12 hours sleep. I was up at 8 and I couldn't get back to sleep. So I was
Yeah,
up for hours prior to this even happening. I was up
yeah,
for a good shift. So, but like what we were saying the other day, with the fact that it would have finished at what, even if we'd done it 8 hours prior, we would have been finished at midday, 12 o'clock on the Sunday. People wouldn't have even been in the club yet. Whereas that last 5, 6, 7 hours when it really became tough, and the club became full of people. And it was kind of they were the ones jeering you on, and all the music was blasting, and there was so many people there watching. That kind of
yeah,
got us over the line a lot easier because what I noticed was when I
yeah,
was doing it, I would zone out like crazy. Like I wouldn't even know what I was doing. I would zone out. Obviously, we'll talk a bit more about that, but I would zone out. But then when Katie would turn up and we'd go for a little walk, we'd walk out for 10 minutes, have our like quick 10-minute break that we were allowed. I'd seem like I'd be back to Corpus Mentis. It was as if like I was like, oh, I'm completely fine. And then the minute you walked
yeah,
back in and went back to the table, it's as if like a switch went off and you were just gone.
yeah.
Did you notice that at all?
It's, it, Oh, definitely. In some cases, it was a little bit like
Yeah,
hypnosis.
man. Yeah.
D- and like you say, I'm sure we'll go into it a little bit more, but it's like that tunnel vision.
Mm. I,
Like all I could see was the table. Nothing else mattered. I mean, it was a massive help when the people were there at the end, but when you're there after hour,
mm.
like how many times? I think there was a couple of times where we were picking the balls up and just looked at the ball and just
I think you picked the white up and put it in your pocket at one stage. I think you were completely out of it. Um, yeah, like, and I was trying to take a shot, and I didn't even have a cue in my hand. At one stage, I think we were quite a few hours in by then. I think we might have been hitting the 80 or 90 hour mark, but I was fine at first. I mean, I had to change me stand because I've got quite a big, like we were saying, a rigid stance. Like, so after 12 hours of playing snooker, like my leg starts to kill. So I had to kind of bend both knees a little bit to take the pressure off one leg. Um, so it was never going to be about kind of how we performed at the snooker. It was just to how we
no,
kind of got around it and how we did it. And if it wasn't, I mean,
yeah,
thanks first and foremost to Johnny and that for letting us do it at the Super Snooker, and for everybody who came and and refed and kept us going from behind the bar, and just everybody. It was
yeah,
just like such kind of a team effort for everybody. Yeah, we might have had the brunt of the sleep deprivation, but everybody else was there was so many different people that turned up from all over just to kind of try and see us through, just to give us that kick that we kind of needed. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah.
yeah, it was pretty crazy. What was like the things that you remember the most when you were doing it?
Um, Obviously, I think the stance, your back, me back did really hurt. But I was more prepared. That's why obviously I did have the upper hand, like
Mm,
mentally. It didn't. Don't get me wrong. You still go through phases. You can't help
yeah.
that. But in that sense, it definitely helped that I had done it before. But I think I just remember it just me back hurting the
Mm,
most. Obviously, there was times as well that around me feet, because I think they're the two really, isn't it? It's your back and your feet. But I always, whether I was just walking bare feet or I don't know, putting a comfortable pair of trainers on, whatever.
no, I think having like yeah, the trainers definitely helped, and I think at one stage there the trainers come off, um, and that you're just walking around barefoot, which was definitely it definitely helped. Um, I remember the it feeling like there was two venues, and I was like, oh, so when are we going through to the other venue? Like I was completely gone by then. I think it hit me after 50 hours. I think after 50 hours, I mightn't have seen it because obviously we've seen the
Yeah.
video as we count down the 50 hours, but then I started to feel it in my head. Like I started
Mm-hmm.
getting a bit confused about stuff, and then after I think 75 was when I started to hallucinate, like badly, was when like the balls started turning into Pokemon and talking to us and stuff.
That was brilliant. Honestly, I'll never forget. I thought you were dying at one stage. Hey, someone called at me and kept lost the
Yeah.
plot here.
I think my brother was in Spain at the time, and he messaged Trev Walton and said, "Will you drag him out of there now? He's gonna die." Um, but yeah, that was.
I remember one. I remember one day. I don't know which day it was. Um, it was when well, we were easily past 50 hours. It might have been in the 70s or 80s. But we took a break. I don't know how long we took, but do you know in the other room how I had the pool room?
Yeah.
sure I climbed on the pool table and I had a couple of minutes nap until someone came barging in. Phil, get up!
Uh, honestly, like you were asleep standing up at one stage. I'm sure of it. Um, I had I was having a go at this one of the one of the people walking around beside us, even though they were meant to be. And I was going, "What's she following us for?" And I just I couldn't remember why. I was thinking if she doesn't stop following me, and like, but I didn't realize I'd gone through that stage of kind of deliria, and if that's even a word, I was so delirious, and then she was kind of obviously helping, probably guiding us around the table. Because at one stage I forgot that I was taking shots. I think the worst I felt so sorry. I love Kane Armstrong, love him to bits, and he was talking to us, and I'm standing talking to Kane, and he had this like puzzled look on his face as I was talking to him, like his head kind of went to the side, and I was like trying to talk to him, and he kind of just all of a sudden he just stopped and put both his hands on my shoulders and went, "Kev, you're not actually speaking." I was like trying to talk, and I was just going. There was no words coming out. I thought I was speaking, but I was that tired. I wasn't even pushing the words out that was meant to be said. In the look of horror
Yeah.
and shock on his face, I think at the time he thought, I'm dying. I've got someone has to come and save Kev." Um,
Mind you, I think we all were. To be honest, I mean, I remember at the time I was so worried about you. I was thinking, oh Jesus, he's not gonna make
I
this.
wasn't. I mean,
Um,
I think if it wasn't for everybody being there, even at 3 o'clock in the morning, I've got people like Trev Walton feeding us cookies, just sticking them in your mouth, trying to give you some kind of sugar. Had Sean Taylor with an ice pack on the back of your head, like, and this is 3, 4 o'clock in the morning when you really need it. Like your body's
yeah,
just you're really, really needing some help of some kind. To have that kind of that help at that time was well, that's what got us through. Really, I mean, if it
oh,
had just been
definitely.
left to us and the doors closed, that would have been it. It's the other people who were just taking turns and coming back and pushing you along and moving you along, and that was definitely the driving force behind it. But yeah,
Definitely the people being there, it did have a massive difference, like, didn't it? Like you say, it was the night shifts when the doors were closed and there weren't many
yeah,
people in, and there was only us and a couple of
mm.
witnesses. They're the tough moments, especially when you're getting past 50, 60
Oh
hours.
man.
That's when you know you really need people to kind of just kind of be upbeat and just kind of distract you where they can.
I think the time when I realised that it was going to be that it was like how long it was going to be hit us was, I think we'd been there since the Wednesday obviously, and it was Friday afternoon, and I'm not sure who we were talking. I think I might have been Colin. I think Fish was in, and then we were saying on the Friday somebody said to him, "Oh, are you coming in?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm not in later." And they said, "Oh, are you in tomorrow?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm not in tomorrow, but I'll be in the next day." And that was just kind of like what we'd already been going since Wednesday at 4 o'clock, and this was Friday, so we'd already been going nearly 50 hours. And then when he said that, I was thinking, not tomorrow, but the next day. I was thinking that, like, that's when it was kind of dawning. There's so much left of this to do. That yeah, I don't know how we're going to get through. But then you kind of don't think like that at the time. It's weird if you had time to think about it, you would. But I think we just kind of just kept going, just pushing.
Apparently, though, Kev, apparently Phil Marshall wants to do it
I've
again.
heard the rumor. There was a lad I was talking to on the phone the other day that said sounded a bit like you. Said that he's tempted to do it again. Now I will. I'm going to graciously bow out of this one, and let's and not just for the sake of my marriage, not no, but for what I had to put up with afterwards, like not off me right, but just mentally and physically. Um, I mean, when I left, I got into the car, couldn't stand back up. Fell asleep standing up in the shower when I got home. Went to bed for 18 hours. Kate woke us up with some homemade banana bread, shoved some in my mouth. I fell back to sleep for another 15 hours. I was and then I had to go and see a chiropractor to like break his
It's like that question. It's like that question. What's the first thing you would want or take with you on desert island?
banana
Kev
bread.
chooses banana bread.
Banana bread all day.
Banana bread.
Mate,
No way.
it couldn't have come at a better time. It was the greatest thing ever. And no, but so you're planning, and is that something that you really want to do again?
I would love it. I would love to do it again. I mean, if you have any viewers,
Yeah.
Kev, who want to do it, tell them to get in
I will.
touch.
Well, what I'll do is, yeah, we'll be able to. I'm going to put this on, obviously on the YouTube Bobby website and stuff, and we'll narrow down some candidates for you, mate, because I'm 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 too old for that shit now. I'm like, mate, I was only 12 when I did it, and I'm 40 now. That's how old I've gone. No, and it's no, it was great, and I would think I'd never say to somebody not to do it. It's an unbelievable thing to do, and I always remember you telling me that the feeling that you get when you do it, and that counts down, just the
Yeah.
feeling of that, it's just the euphoria that you have of the feeling that you get when you do it. It was one of the greatest feelings I've ever had, and I think I do think people out there should do it. Just don't go to a doctor beforehand because I got told not to do it. Just do it, and just as long as you take listen to people, especially.
Is that what your doctor said?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, totally. He said, "Don't do it." He said, "How long are you planning on doing
Did
it
he?
for?" And when we said 100 hours, he said, "No."
Did
Yeah,
he?
yeah. And I was like, "All right, okay," and then did it anyway. Um, but but
Never knew that. Oh, I can't. You might have told us that, but I can't
yeah,
remember.
but yeah, they told us not to. I think I might have just. I think it was not just me or my age. I think it was just 100 hours is a long time of sleep deprivation. And it's and different minds that take it, do it a lot differently and deal with it a lot differently. Um, but yeah, I found it was unbelievable. It's something that I would recommend. I definitely think you should do it, um, and go from there. And then,
Was it the biggest test you've done, like mindset
yes,
wise for you, or
yeah, well, yeah, mindset wise, just for pure, it's a total mind over matter thing. It's a willpower. Because at any time you could
yeah,
just get to a point where your body just quits and goes, "Do you know what? I've had enough. I've done 80 hours. Like no, I'm nearly 40. I've done 80 hours. No one's gonna have a go at or no one's gonna say now we raised £4,000 for charity. No one's gonna look bad at us for not doing it. It was more of
yeah,
if for me because I'd never had a big challenge like that. I was thinking, do you know what? I haven't had a big challenge like that. I'm not going to fail it. I'm not going to fail it. And it's
hmm
such a good feeling when you've done it. Um, so I definitely would recommend. I would recommend that people did it. Definitely, without a shadow of a doubt.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I know it didn't get verified for them reasons we'll go into different times, but that to me was by the by. To me, it was the the fact that I did it and we raised that much money for charity to raise that much coin for
yeah.
charity. I think it was like I always thought we were going to raise like 2 grand. I thought if we could raise 2 grand, I'd be chuffed to
Same.
bits. The fact that we doubled it was to me that, like I said, the real driving force behind it was the money for charity. So I
Yeah.
loved it. So
I was the same. I remember having that chat as well, though, and I remember us saying that if we get 2 grand, we'll be
yeah,
chuffed to bits. And then when we realised we got four, well, we just both went nuts. We couldn't believe it, could
nah,
we?
man, that was just crazy. And I think we realized that it was getting up there as we were going along. So so we
Yeah,
could see, there was people. I mean, we even had people put some, they put like lots of money in, and other people put money in, and
yeah,
we had even had Mark Allen putting money in. Do you know what I mean? The snooker player. So it's just kind of like everybody was getting involved, and then when you could see it coming on, they're just giving people who were putting money in and what they were doing and what they were saying. That definitely was a driving force behind it as well. It just kind of made you it
yeah,
just kind of pushed you on that little bit more, which was which is
definitely.
great. But no. I hope that you can get somebody else to do it with you. And
Hopefully, I would love to do it again. I really would.
Have you,
It is really hard. So if anyone's listening to this and it just and takes it for granted, then get in touch with Kev.
get in touch with my head doctor, who will talk to you and let you know exactly what it's like. No, but it's yeah, it was definitely the hardest thing I've ever done. Like physically and like mentally. I don't. The
Same
thing
with
is, I
me.
don't think many people would say otherwise. I think they would say that it's going to be like that. It's going to be that tough because they don't realize like 100 hours is a long time. I think a lot of people, when you say you've done it as well, they kind of go, they look at you as if you're either mental or we must have been able to sleep. Now, the rule stated that we could have a 5 minute break an hour, but we weren't. We could accrue the time, but we weren't allowed to use it to sleep. Now, don't get us wrong. There's sometimes where you're standing and you felt yourself go, and you didn't know if you'd been asleep or woke up because you've just been stood there, and you think, was I just asleep there or not? And like you said, sometimes you walk away and they'd be like, Phil, and you'd be like, oh, I don't even know if I'm awake or asleep because you become kind of like in kind of like a dream state at one stage. It must be a kind of yeah.
It was weird, but it's you do go on that emotional roller
Mm,
coaster. Like, do you know at the start? Because like when I would say for the first, I think when you get to 50 hours, that's when you're cut
yeah.
off. But up to 50 hours, I would say we'd still had that competitiveness in us. Like, right, we're going to get a good break
Yeah.
here, or we're going to, do you know what I mean? But after that, it was literally just getting hour by hour done,
Mm.
wasn't it? Really?
It was the amount of times that I had to get told to take a shot that it was my shot.
Oh,
I
ab-
could,
absolutely, and
yeah, I couldn't believe it.
loads.
Like the amount of time, and then like you say, I'm trying to hit the ball and I couldn't hit it, and then I got told I didn't even have my cue in my hand. So I was like, oh, what I'm trying to push it with fresh air. Like I don't know what I'm trying to do here, but yeah, yeah, you just kind of go into kind of like a dream state, and then it's not that you're standing watching. I've been watching some of it back, and you can see that we're standing looking at the table, but we have to get prompted that it's our shot. Like I
Yeah,
thought you were playing against somebody else at one stage. Like you forget that, like you're playing against each other, and I thought at one stage you'd gone through the other room to play in a different competition, and I was like, there's no other room. It's like this is the room. This is it. I can see all four walls. There's nowhere out. But your mind starts playing all these crazy tricks on you. So I mean, I would recommend it for anybody wanting to do it. So if there's anybody, like I say, anybody who is in the chat, anybody who's going to be on the YouTube video or on my website who wants to hit us up and put your CV forward for being a potential partner in crime to Philly Marshall's 2021 attempt next year.
oh yeah, yeah, oh absolutely. If it was, it would definitely be next year.
Yeah. No, I mean, well, like you say, there's time, and I'll always be there. I'll always come through and in support because I know what it's like, And
You'll be doing the night shift, son.
true story. I'll tell you what. I was watching the video the other day of the snooker marathon, and I'm sitting here, and I went like that. And I last went, I've never seen you nearly fall asleep before in your life when you're just sitting there. And I was like, it's this. It's setting us off again. I know. But no,
Makes you tired.
exactly no. It was just like it's honestly as soon as I start seeing it now, my mind's just like right. You need to go to sleep. It's too much for you, no, mate. But Philly, I just want to say thank you, mate, for coming on, having a bit crack.
Aye, good to catch up,
Yes, mate.
mate.
And yeah, like I
Champion.
said, with anybody who wants to do it, uh, hit us both up, and
Aye, love a bit of nostalgia.
of course. All right, brother. Thanks a lot, mate. I'll speak to you soon.
Take
See
care,
you,
mate.
mate.
See
Bye.
you later.